A quick video today. Well, I often say that and it doesn't end up being, but it's about the fact that we're in a kind of, well, in many ways a normal market. The market, instead of just a full-on bull market, markets tend to fluctuate generally, not crypto generally, but I mean, well, I suppose it does. What I mean is, overall crypto keeps on going up, so I suppose it's a bull market overall if you look at the last 9 years. And so is the real estate market, for example. Stock market, another example too. Although it's a bit more falsified with things like derivatives and stuff as well, going into those dinosaur financial markets. But one thing that is common overall is the skepticism of people that things will somehow, basically the sky will just turn purple or fucking fluorescent green to be more appropriate, because like it's been down for a while, and you can start seeing people in comment sections. I know there will be people that bought in, say, Bitcoin at $20,000, but the short-term mindset of these people just amazes me, and they almost deserve to get burned. It's just to make them stay away from the market in the future, because it's the same kind of people that when they win, they're the worst kind of winners. That's actually general in life, isn't it? The worst winners make the worst losers too. So I mean, I say worst winners, like yeah, I won, haha, look at me, yeah. So yeah, probably just keep them away from trading. The thing for those kind of people, because they're actually emotional people, they just need to be told. They just need to be taught how to hodl, not buy in something. So this is something. Actually, it's not going to be a short video because I'm going to explain something I explained to another friend, John, yesterday. He was asking what I reckon he should buy, and he said, what, silver or what, or gold or what? I said, well, if you're looking at metals, I would say silver. And if you're looking at the coins, because silver would be kind of like a long hold, at least 3 years to some, maybe even 10. Who knows? We don't know, but we know it's undervalued. How long is it going to stay undervalued for? Fuck knows. Peter Schiff's been going on for years about it. He hasn't been wrong. It's just the manipulation has has outstripped what we all thought would be possible. Same as the manipulation to keep the fiat currency market alive. That's outstripped everything. Not just manipulating gold and silver, but also kicking the can down the road when it comes to the economic stimulus packages around the world. Someone actually mentioned yesterday when I was saying about Scotland, when I said years ago to the SNP party, Scottish National Party, that we should just adopt Bitcoin because they were spreading a false narrative, despite the fact that the pound was started by a Scotsman, the Bank of England was, the Reserve Bank of England, that we could no longer use the pound if we left the UK, and the pound's older than the UK is. Well, I suppose it's not. Actually, no, I don't think it is older than the UK. I'd need to check that one up, actually. But the fact is, those banks, yeah, actually, no, it's not older than the UK. But irrespective, you can use whatever the currency you want around the world. Like countries that have hyperinflation, for example, generally use the US dollar. Well, that would be like us leaving the UK and then saying, right, you can't have that money. Or it'd be like someone leaving the UK, and when you leave the UK, they ask you, have you got any British pounds in your pocket? And you say, yes, sorry, we need to have that back. They have no right to tell you what to use. So we could have used the pound, even if they said we couldn't use it even if it was upheld in court that we couldn't use it as a national currency. But the problem is the opposite happened, but they continued on with those lies during independence. Because it's kind of like the Trump factor, like they say over here. If you spout enough lies, you can't fact check them quick enough, and still shit sticks. You know what I mean? So when John asked me about the silver, I said, silver and gold and stuff and platinum. I said, well, platinum's very undervalued, and it's a lot more rare than gold is, and gold is very rare anyway, unless you believe some of the conspiracy videos on YouTube that say you can make gold out of fucking soil or whatever. Which, let's face it, if that was the case, even we could be flooded with gold quite easily just for someone to make a quick short-term gain dumping that produced gold in the market. So those videos are all shit, right? Now, the other thing, as I said to him, was Bitcoin or Litecoin. And then I thought about it. I thought, well, Bitcoin is a safer bet than every other currency. Hence, it's got 50% market domination right now. So I'd be kind of silly to tell him Litecoin, because digibyte could kind of take the crown as that silver to Bitcoin's gold. You know, so could other currencies. Even though it's a big scam, I believe, I think even Ripple could, because it's you know, even if you start out with something intending it to be a scam and it works out and you've already made billions and you don't need to rip people off anymore, why not carry it on as something that's actually, I mean, if it works, well, it works. It's on a the token is on a ERC20 blockchain, I think. Actually, that's how little I look into Ripple, because I see it as fake just because of the marketing videos they have to produce. Any currency that has to produce videos like Verge, Tron, BitConnect, Ripple, any of those companies that are doing those kind of, if you understand it, the neuro-linguistic programming kind of adverts that they have, then you know it's a scam, and it hasn't got good intent behind it, but it could still end up something good, right? My brother invests in Ripple. I wouldn't do it. I see it like I don't invest in, I don't know, child labour camps, because it's not morally, you know, in line with what I'm into in life. And you don't have to invest in things that you're not morally in tune with. It doesn't mean that it's not all about the money, because it is all about the money to some degree. But it's also about what you believe in. I mean, the reason I say this, I've had arguments about this. If you're an investor, you're an investor. No, because there are things you shouldn't invest in if you think you've got any moral compass. Anyway, I won't go down that path too much. But what I was saying to him was, regardless of how much you've got to spend, he said, how much would I need? I said, how long is a piece of string, basically. You need whatever you have to invest. Never invest what you can't afford to invest. Don't be like these morons who are sitting there going, oh man, fuck Bitcoin, man, it got me in shit. You got you in shit because you decided to invest money you couldn't afford. You were expecting a payout within a few weeks or a few months, whatever the fuck it is. You're expecting 10x because your friend got it, or 100x even, and you didn't get it, and now you're crying like a bitch. Get over it, because take it as a lesson. Like, I once lost 160 Ethereum coins, right? That's $180 odd thousand if you take it to its peak, which is around about $1,300, right? Am I complaining? Am I bitching, moaning? No, because, okay, not just because the money I originally put into Bitcoin and years ago, years after that, Ethereum in 2015, and also in 2013 I bought a lot of Litecoin as well. It's all been paid back to me, and I'm lucky. But the thing is, it's not a. People talk about Ponzi scheme, for example. Oh, I got in early, that's why it's okay. Well, it's not a Ponzi scheme, because everything in life, including the fractional reserve system. Well, actually, no, sorry. Everything in life except the fractional reserve monetary system, you get paid for being an early adopter. The money system, because it starts to basically go down in value, hyperinflate, no matter what you have, you'll always end up with less down the track. It's the way the system's been designed to allow the elite to keep control, just the way it works. So I sort of said to him that if he buys silver, just and gold, or anything for that matter. So let's just use the example of Bitcoin and silver. Put money in your savings account. And this is financial advice. Fuck yous. I don't give a fuck with these channels. Oh, this is not financial advice. Come fucking sue me then. Because no one has ever actually truly listened to my advice. I mean, properly listened. I had one friend, Hayden, bitching last year. Sorry, Hayden. But I mean, you're one of the first guys I told about Bitcoin. And you want to bitch at me because you bought it in the end of 2017. You're still going to do fine. You're just looking at things in a bubble, in a small little microcosm. And saying, oh, I haven't made money yet. Fuck you. You know, if you bought when I told you years ago, you'd be rolling in it, you dumb fuck. Anyway, just had to say that. And it's not, I've only had 2 people who've actually, nah, that guy wasn't really whining. Nah, I can't really say that. I only had one person who's really moaned about it. I've always said, you know, well, anytime's a good time to buy. I mean, obviously it's going to go up and down, but overall it's going to go up. So even if you buy now, if you wait long enough, you'll be fine, as long as you buy decent currency. So don't buy shit. You know, and every YouTuber says, every good YouTuber says this. Analyze what you're investing in. Know what you're talking about. I mean, you can be fairly, let's say, inexperienced, uneducated in the crypto space, and still have some pretty safe bets. Those safe bets would be short-term crap, right? Like Ripple might be a safe bet short-term, because even if it never turns into a non-scam and actually, let's say they make enough money and decide to actually just have it as a coin, it will still do okay short-term. It will still go beyond the 50, 60 cents that it is now. But Bitcoin, it's safe. It'll be here in years' time. It'll be a collector's item among anything else. You know, because people are failing to understand digital assets when they look at, oh yeah, it could all be hacked and it could be worth nothing. No, you're not thinking properly. You don't understand the technical aspects behind it. The fact that Bitcoin is the most secure currency because of not just because of the network, because of the actual interrogation on that network, solving those equations that allow you to actually unlock the wallets in the first place, or the coins in the first place, right? So I'd say if you were not going to diversify in metals or in cryptocurrency, I would say that Bitcoin and silver are the ones. If you were going to diversify, I'd say silver and then platinum and then gold, because platinum's sunk down below gold's value the first time in so many years. I can't even remember in history when it was actually lower than gold. And one day it will go back up again because of the rarity of it. Bitcoin, I would say stick to other mineable currencies. If you want to, let's say, diversify outside it, rather than jump over to litecoin because it's a fast transaction thing, I think it'd be safer to jump over to something like Monero. It's being utilized. I mean, Dash is a fairly safe call, but something like 3% of transactions in Dash are actually being used for the privacy aspect of it. So then you have to ask yourself, well, what's really the point? It sounds a better idea to me to have something that's always anonymous. That whole chain is an anonymous chain, zero knowledge proofs, and just use Bitcoin for storing your value, like gold. And the thing is, Bitcoin could re-implement privacy again. So that's why don't put all your eggs in one basket. It can also get the speed aspects up. That's again why not to go too nuts on digibyte or you know, Vertcoin or any of these other ones that are lightning fast, or Bitcoin Cash if that's your thing, you know. The only Bitcoin fork I really like is the one that, well, the one that's, I don't think it's even out yet. I have stopped paying attention to forks, except for Richard Hart's one where he wants to remove the whales wallets. So basically when they split the Bitcoin and basically make a clone of it, he wants to filter out everything that's a whale. A whale, I think, is 50 Bitcoins or above, by definition. So, but you don't have to say, oh, well, that's me out. I mean, you can still split your stuff into separate wallets and you would actually pass that filter. So, I mean, I suppose it's whales who aren't paying attention to their portfolio, would be one way of putting it. The other one is the MT Gox facilitated by the Japanese government scammer, because that's what he is, actually a fraud and a thief. So the Japanese government defrauded everyone out of their money to give to shareholders. That's the sort of scam that you'd only expect Britain and America to pull off, but now you see it's happening in Japan. Although Japan are adopting crypto, sort of kind of, it's a country I always love to be. It's probably one of my favourite 3 countries in the world. Snowboarding's great. I like the fact that they're racist against me. It's fine. Keeps a lot of my other people from my country out, you know, and because most countries just have the common play in every country is a fucking retard. And I travel around the world and I see this. No country's any different than each other. Well, some are slightly different, but they have different political ideologies. But I mean, people in general aren't different. And I like the fact that they kind of keep their place clean, because they make you feel so bad for being a foreigner that if you act up or do spray paint or drop some rubbish in the ground, yes, you should feel like a dick, because what are you doing? Now you're shaming your culture. That's the way it should be. And this is why other countries are falling apart because they're not adopting that. I'm not saying shame people for being foreigner. I'm not saying go as far as the Japanese are or what the Germans were many years ago. But definitely have some aspect of saying who comes first in this land are the people from this land. That always has to happen. And I'm happy being a foreigner in South Africa, in Japan, and in Taiwan. It doesn't matter where I am really, if that's the you know, the standard that things are, you know, the ethos. So basically you buy into it, and instead of ever thinking of exiting, because by the time you'll know when to exit, because you'll think, is this giving me enough return that I'm thinking I've done really well here, like I've done with cryptocurrency so far. It's cost me nothing. Doesn't matter when it goes up and down. Bought it all so long ago, and I've already cashed out more than I ever put into it, so I can't do wrong, even though I made a massive fuck up and lost 180,000 bucks. You know, that's nothing in the grand scheme of things, because I put, I think it cost me between 5 and 12, so it's an average of about 8 over the time I was buying Ethereum, from when I started buying in late 2014, I think it was. I started early 2015, and I stopped buying it 2016. So yeah, I think it was maximum 12 bucks and minimum about 5. So yeah, let's say it's an average of 8. It's still it's still like is it $2,000 something? It's still around about $2,000 I put into it. It's not that much money. It's fuck all really. So that's why I need to just get over it and move on, not dwell, because that would be me being emotional. You see what I mean? Whereas I can focus. Actually, another thing is I had a lot of bags last year when I decided to stop trading because the IRS regulations were changing. I thought, fuck these cunts, they're not having my money. And I'm also leaving America. I'm moving to Bulgaria for a short while, but I'm moving to Croatia just for, I don't know for how long. But anyway, Europe's more crypto friendly and the tax situation's better over there. So what I want to do, oh yeah, so I stopped trading, and then I had some bags. I thought, I never want to sell out at a loss, right? I'd rather hold on for 3 years and sell at a loss, right? It's just a good practice to have, because you shouldn't think so short term in life. You shouldn't allow the emotions to think, oh no, life's so short. Like one of the guys that works for me, he's constantly petrified. He's learning now, Rick. He's a good dude. He's a Kiwi, 26 years old. He thinks his life's passing him by. It's not. He doesn't realize how young he is, right? And fucking mosquito again. Damn it. So basically, he's getting all paranoid that his life's passing him by. And now he took a shit menial job, and now he's realized how crap that job is. And now he decided to quit it. And I said, how do you feel about quitting that job? He feels fucking great. Of course he does. It empowered him to not have to live in a hamster wheel that he'd already broken free from when he was living in Brazil. And now he's back in New Zealand. He decided, I'm paranoid, I need to be working, I need to get back in the system, listening to his parents and stuff. I've been through the same shit. You'll never be free if you think like that. And good thing is he broke out of it again, and now he's ready to do some more marketing and stuff with this other ICO we're working on. So my point being, New Zealand again, no. Oh yeah, the trading thing. So I had about 5 Bitcoin worth of bags, and that is currently worth around about 2. I need to check my Blockfolio, but it was about 2.2. So it's gone down and down and down. Occasionally I've sold stuff out, like unobtanium, that went above the buy price, so I sold that out. EOS I didn't. Actually, I wouldn't mind buying unobtanium back again. But anyway, EOS and Cardano, obviously, they didn't do so bad. EOS actually made a profit, but I still haven't sold out of it because I plan to go long on that. I was actually hoping it would go down further so I could buy more. But that's the difference in thought between someone who's saying, oh man, the crypto market's fucked, because they're wondering why their life is constantly shit. You know, why do I struggle so much, man? That's why, because you're just completely ruled by emotions. And it's the same way you probably have shit situations with women, where I would just break it off, because if a woman's being a dumb bitch, some guys will just carry it on and on and on. Yeah man, no, I really love her, man. I went through 2 bad breakups last year. Fiance I've been with for 7 years, almost 8. Chantel from Zimbabwe, and I met her in New Zealand years ago. She's a nurse out there, doing really well now. A lot of my guidance has helped her do well, but then again, it's mostly her deciding to listen to me, so that's really good. But then, you know, she's all paranoid about coming to America. What if it doesn't work out? Yo, what if it doesn't? It's good. What about me? What about the problems? What about me flying you out here? Even though she's the one who's actually working and can easily afford to bring herself over now. And I just thought to myself, you know what? I'm fucking sick of this selfishness. So we split it off. It's a kind of an amicable thing. And I was also seeing another girl who I broke off with in the same week, Alyssa from fucking Montana. She's half Korean. Her parents are all flight attendants. Actually, her dad's a multi-millionaire. Another story. But she's a nutter, just drug addict. Actually, she's a really cool chick in some ways, but just a fucking typical greedy American girl. You know what I mean? I hate to say it. That's just a lot of them are. So yeah. So I mean, that was a bit to go through. But I didn't hold on to it. Yeah, well, I'll do anything. No, just cut it off. You're being a fucking crazy bitch. I don't want to be with you if you're going to be like that, or if you're going to think like this. It's not compatible with the way I'm thinking. You said before that I'm quite visionary and wise, yet you want to go against what I'm saying here. Well, that's fine. You've got the right to. On you go. Bye. Tatty bye. You know. Same in the financial markets. You've got to have your head about it. Realize you make fuck ups. Understand that when you do make fuck ups, don't dwell on it. Learn from it. It's something to learn from. The mistakes are here to test us. Anyway, so to round up, all I want to basically get to is, if you're gonna invest in that way, it's like a slow hodl. It's an accumulative hodl. That's what I'll call it. What you end up doing is this: you put aside what you can each week. How you going? You put aside what you can each week into a rumble this way. Hey, he goes in the water. Put aside what you can each week into a savings account. You don't just buy silver with it, or buy whatever the asset that you decide. Up, come on. The asset class that you want to buy. You put your money away, and let's say, for example, this week I'm looking at the silver charts, and I notice that it spikes down to fucking $12. Then you buy. You might either split it into, say, well, half goes into bullion, half goes into crypto, so I'll put 50%. Or you might say, this price is so low, at this stage I'm going to put everything I have in my savings account into silver. Then next thing you'll see that Monero dips down to a 6-month low. And that's 6 months later, and you've got an accumulation of money in your savings account again. Nice little spot to stop. So go hard, buy it all out. One thing's for sure: you're never going to see those kind of gains in the financial market. You're never going to see them in the South African rand or US dollar. So there's no great. Oh shit! There's no great need to hold on to your fiat. Oh, there he is. Hey, about time. And that's the way I advise it. So what you end up doing is, regardless of what your budget is, regardless of what you can save, one is you get used to saving. But the other thing is, you accumulate, and before you know it, it's amazing the power of accumulation. Before you know it, you end up having not just a nest egg, but a potential, a potential earner, because you could decide that with half what you end up accumulating, you might start trading with half of it. Then that's a way to leave your job. You know, as I taught quite a few people last year, if you learn the art of trading, which most people can't do because they're too emotional, but if you learn to ignore emotions, and you learn to you learn to look at graphs it's almost like you're in the Matrix. You know what I mean? You start to make sense of the ones and zeros. You start to make sense of the graph. Something that looks like complete gibberish to someone else starts to make sense to you. Then you can work from home, hang around your dog, like I was last year, make 20 grand in a morning, or whatever it is in the morning, $1,000 in the morning, whatever's a lot of money to you. You can make that. You can have the realization that you can walk away from the treadmill that you're currently on, and and these jobs that makes you feel like, oh God, I've got to go to work, man, fuck. And I just don't have that anymore. It's fucking great. And I don't even trade anymore, but I will do it again when I get to Europe. And for no other reason really than to basically set the rest of my family up, and also maybe to shut my dad up a little bit. He's got this paranoia because he comes from quite an impoverished family when he was younger. So he works his ass off and works hard. Worked until he was 67. He only just retired last year. My stepmom's just retired now at 70. They could have retired years ago, but anyway, especially the fact that they're moving to South Africa and it's really cheap out there in comparison. So you can learn to be free and break yourself free from the chains of the global hegemony and the global elite system that kind of constrains us all. That some people are just so dumb, they really think that everyone else is a tinfoil hat wearing idiot to even suggest such a thing. And the reason is because so many of those people have no get up and go of their own. They have a very narrow spectrum of knowledge. Therefore, they can't do many things themselves. They couldn't just end up outside like this and say, right, within a week they could have a hut made. They could maybe find some ore, start smashing rocks, making a fire, a covered clay fire that could actually produce enough heat to actually extract the iron from some ore, for example, or some whatever other metal you might have in there. They just don't have that knowledge, or what foods they could eat, or how to start a farm from scratch. I mean, they just so much of society is like that, and it's a real shame. And this is why I understand the strength of homeschooling now, but the other side of it is some people think they're smart and they have no idea how clueless they are. And when they start to homeschool, it's a fucking recipe for disaster because they don't realize how ignorant and uneducated they are. Anyway, that really is a short video on a short half-hour video on Bitcoin, on how to hodl and accumulation, do an accumulation hodl over time, and also why right now is a good time since the markets, there's blood on the streets. that saying, that's the time to make money. And right now, I'm not doing anything much right now on Cryptoversity, and the reason is I know I can't be bothered with the flack I'll get. This is the perfect time for everyone to be buying again. It really is. You've seen resistance points being tested again and again as far as the low resistance points of Bitcoin, which is 6,000. Looks like that is the floor. The new floor is 6 grand, right? I could be proven wrong. Everything could always change because of manipulation. But what I'm saying is the likelihood. I mean, put it this way: people who wouldn't bat an eyelid at going into a Vegas gambling machine with the odds of, you got more odds of throwing a dart into that water there and catching a turtle. There is turtles in there. Than you would in winning, let's say, even your money back, let alone any decent amount of money. And yet they wouldn't argue with that, but they'll argue with something where the odds are in your favor because it's like likelihoods. The likelihood of Bitcoin being less than 6 grand is fucking low. The likelihood of it when it gets its next takeoff, or let's say an ETF, which I don't believe in. I reckon they should just stop that and allow Bitcoin to grow organically the way it should do. But let's say the ETF's coming again. I will definitely take advantage of the next bubble, but I won't sell out all. I'll probably take out a third. I'll convert that back into dollars. I'll wait for the inevitable correction, and then I'll buy back in twice or 3 times as many. I thought that this would stop happening, but it hasn't stopped happening. 1 second. Rumble! Oh, sorry, mate. Good, thanks. My one's alright. Come on, in you come. Rumble! Oh, and actually, it's too muddy here. Come on, heel. Fuck it, I need to edit that out anyway. What was I saying again? Ow, bollocks, I've forgotten now. Oh yeah, about likelihood. So the likelihood is it will go up and up and up. Hill! Hill. I don't want to go in there, it's too muddy. Just had a shower yesterday. Go on the other side. So yeah, the likelihood of it going, yeah, that's what I mean. I was gonna, I'll buy in and sell out again. I thought it wasn't going to happen again, that repeat cycle that's been happening since 2010 basically, because of the fact that the media started paying attention, because they were being so embarrassed, the mainstream media, that it was like, oh, this is getting really embarrassing now. What if this is getting mainstream embarrassment? So they had to start covering Bitcoin, not just in a negative way, but in a positive way, because it made no sense. How's this thing keep on growing, and now it's at $1,000? This is back then, and not 2,000, or I think it went to about $1,000 again, like it had been in 2013. And yet here we are, only ever reporting, oh, Bitcoin collapses, for something that died so many times. It sure as shit faring very well against the US dollar, like 1,000 odd times better than the US dollar, because they've been saying that since it's been fucking 80 cents. So that's the only reason I thought things would change. I thought the media hype might keep this bubble going a bit longer. I miscalculated, didn't sell out. I also was a bit paranoid about the IRS situation. Just wanted to stop trading. That's why I got left with the five BTC worth of bags. It's now worth about 2.2. I don't give a fuck. The funny thing is, because there's been so much death in the markets, it's the same when you get an ICO. This actually is similar to the ICO theory. When you buy 10 ICOs that are quite strong, even if only one works out, it will make you all your losses back and a handsome profit. I don't like that game, but some people play it. US Crypto Baller, I don't know his new name, but he was pretty good at that. And see, his audience are giving him shit as well. I'm not really. I'm pretty much against lending platforms, and that's something that he gets involved in. But he does seem to be pretty good at it. And if you are, that's the thing. The people on my group in Cryptoversity, if they want to learn about it, I'm not going to teach them about something that not only that I don't understand. Even if I do understand it, if I don't believe in it, I'll direct them somewhere else. Because I don't want to be the guy teaching something that I actually hate. And I hate living in debt. I hate lending. I hate that whole mortgage industry. I hate middleman stuff. And that, I mean, being a recruiter is a middleman. You're adding in 99.99% of cases, recruiters in this world, because the market's so saturated, they do not add any value. That's why my company that I just shut down because I decided to leave America, Max9, max9inc.com, you can see it there. You'll see that my structure was, so basically I get fed all of the job leads for government sector in Oregon and state of Colorado as well, right? And that would take a shitload to do that, but that's how you build the business in the first place. You put in the effort at the start. But anyway, it wasn't where my heart's at. But what the plan originally was, if I'd had the heart for it more, which I don't, was to show the world that we don't need recruiters, and that if we do have them, they don't need to make 20 and 30%. 9% is a handsome reward, and my 9% reduced to 6 after 6 months, then reduced to 3% after a year. They don't need more than that. I had this recruiter in London the other day telling me that they want to make 20 to 30%. And I think that's highway robbery. They should be wearing a mask, right? Now, so we put it to 20% for us as a special. And I was like, oh, wow. So they literally, this is not for contractors like I do, right? This was for permanent staff. 30% is their normal. So and that's for the whole life of that guy working in a permanent job. What kind of parasitic business is that? That you're making 30% of what is for the rest of that person's job. You gave their resume over once. They landed the job through their hard work. It was them that wrote their resume. You found it, passed it on like a hot potato. It got picked up. Luckily, that was one of the ones that the employer wanted to interview. And when they did, they took him on, and now for the rest of his career, in that particular role, you're going to get 20 to 30%. That's fucking disgusting, right? That's the sort of thing I wanted to change. I'll probably go back and do that, but I'll get other people to run it in a few years' time. Once I've finished a few other projects, I want to restart the pie company again, Delta Gamma Pie, because we lost the building, and I went into too hard basket. And I'll restart Max9 as well. Or there's no point scalping the name because I'll just use a different a different one. So it's pointless. If any domain scalpers, other people who can't stand, people expect to buy something and basically sit on it and think, well, I'm just going to occupy the space here. I know you could say that there's parallels between that and the Ponzi scheme that you think digital currencies are, but it's a complete different thing. It's like basically, it's like sitting in a public toilet with a note outside. I'm going to be in here for days, but are willing to move if you give me $5, and then some desperate person comes along, needs a piss, and they give you $5. That's what it's like. Anyway, I've moved and digressed quite a bit, so I'll leave it there. Accumulation is the key. You don't have to trade. This market's going to go up enough that's going to make you profits as long as you go long.